The Endurance E-Racing World Championship Le Mans 24 Hours is brought to you by ESR Esports Network, Fleet Gaming, SimLab, Yousuf, Simplexity, Acetech, and AMD Ryzen Radio.
Welcome back to the 2020 GTR 24 Endurance E-Racing World Championship 24 Hours of Le Mans. On your screen, as you saw in the break, was the change of lead. Ernest Lappins took the lead for both Varga and Burst Edge Esports. We actually missed this during the commercial break, but of course, now it is back to Varga being in the lead. Ernest Lappins into second place now. But these three are giving us a fight for our lives and the fight of the century at the front of the LMP2 field. And we're only an hour in. We're not even that in. And the Varga's car has made a mistake trying to lap one of the GT3 McLarens. Through will go the Burst Edge Esports car, and I saw contact. He's hit the McLaren off. That will be a penalty, 100%.
I was riding on board with Jesper Pedersen. From Jesper's view, it looked fine, it looked clean. I didn't even realize there was contact, but from the outside view, you can see that contact, and that will be investigated, and we'll have to see what the stewards say about that. I personally think it was okay, but the stewards will have to make that decision. Three-way battle for the lead of the LMP2 class, and it's Marcel Chinchik leading Ernest Lappins and Jesper Pedersen.
We also still have that fight in GTE between the 12 DGTL car and the 78 PRB cars fighting for that position. Meanwhile, obviously, as this fight calms down slightly, these two are still nose to tail. The 12 Ferrari and the 78 BMW as close as ever as they come through Indianapolis, heading down towards Arnage. No move going to be made just yet, but plenty of time for it to be made.
Yeah, and actually further down the order, DISSR Lab have, I think they've jumped. No, never mind. They're just both pitting. My bad. PRB cars are still trying to hunt down DGTL, but it looks like that is fairly stationary. And as you mentioned, things calming down here ever so slightly in the LMP2 class. But right as I say that, Jesper Pedersen, he's closing in onto Ernest Lappins. Can he ever go into the Mulsanne chicane? No, just a little bit too far back. And he'll just ease off the throttle and let the car roll in.
Yeah, of course, and you know, you've got to keep an eye on that as well. Again, both fights going very, very close at the moment. Just everyone trying to make it through without having too many issues. But obviously, the one thing that looms over the head of Burst Edge Esports right now, will Jesper get that penalty?
Yeah, will he get that penalty indeed? I'd love to have another look at it as well. As once again we see Jesper easing off nice and early, and he's just using Ernest Lappins just to save up some fuel. We know how important it is to be able to do 10 versus 11 laps. Don't forget, Marcel Chinchik, he actually pitted one lap after these two, so technically he's in a slightly better position strategy-wise.
He is indeed. Meanwhile, as you mentioned strategy, the GT pit cycle is underway, and so is the hypercar pit cycle. And every single GT and hypercar is now going to be diving in. And in the pits, we have Mark V, Bobby Trundle, Morten Arkson. We also have David Greco, the PRB team. We have an absolute flurry of cars in the pit lane. You can actually see it on your screens now. Absolute chaos in the pit lane here as the first set of stops come through, and it is going to be cars getting blocked. I think the Musto Ferrari might get blocked, and that might cause issues because there will go the Deuces Motor Club car, and I believe Bobby Trundle might even jump the Basilia car actually coming out of the pits. This is going to be very interesting. They're side by side in the pit lane. Who will release the pit limiter first, because the pit lane does narrow. And there's contact in the pit lane. Contact in the pit lane between Mark Veit and Bobby Trundle. The flash of the headlights, the disagreement from that. He expected Mark Veit to back out of it, but I still think that Bobby should have backed out. I don't know. He wasn't exactly ahead or entitled to it. He was on the outside, but who knows? We'll see what the stewards have to say about it. But those two guys very close indeed. Ernest Lappins with Jesper Pedersen very close behind, but the one thing we have to mention, David Greco has been jumped by the Deuces Motor Club Porsche in the pit lane.
He is, and you brought it up, how David Greco just couldn't get out. He was slightly blocked in, and you know, this is what we were kind of expecting, and maybe some teams should have decided, okay, we'll pit one lap earlier so that they don't have the risk of this happening, and you can strategize as much as you want. But in a 24-hour race, anything can happen, and well, in this situation, David Greco getting slightly blocked on the exit of the pit lane as just keeping an eye on this LMP2 battle. Actually, Marcel Chinchik is flying. He's pulled 1.8 seconds on Ernest Lappins on that last lap, and the gap is nearly 3 seconds between the leaders in the LMP2 class.
Update on the GTE battle as that came into the pit lane. The PAB cars have actually dropped over a second off the back of the 12 DGTL car in that cycle. But again, as you said, that Burst Edge Esports car actually dropping on the back of the 17, and then the 17 dropping 2.5 seconds off of Marcel Chinchik. But we will have to wait and see what goes on, because as well, we do have other fights on the track. Mark Wright versus Bobby Trumley as well. Those two are closer than ever before again, and also potentially with an investigation looming.
Yeah, that investigation is looming indeed, but I don't know what Bobby Trundle was thinking. He was behind, you know. I don't know what on earth he thought would happen if he kept his nose. And Mark White was always going to come across in that situation. Oh, Jesper Pedersen, he had a little look at Ernest Lappin into the Mulsanne chicane, and Jesper has had enough. He said, now is the moment. I need to push. I need to get past you, Ernest, because you are losing way too much time to Marcel Chinchik. Do you remember when Marcel and Jesper, they were nose to tail? Well, now it's Ernest and Jesper is getting a good run down the Mulsanne straight, but he just won't be close enough heading into the chicane, and he will have to hold firm for now.
Meanwhile, the leaders of Hypercar in Ibrahim Khan and Team Viaducton come down the pit lane, finally making their way into their pit boxes, stopping in their box, and you can see Viaducton just going, okay, I don't want to see what happened to everyone else. Let's avoid. Meanwhile, that is Jesper having a look.
Yeah, he will have a look indeed. Down the inside he goes. He gets the move done down into the Mulsanne hairpin, and now Jesper, he can keep his eyes up firmly ahead. You can see the 117 of Marcel Chinchik just slightly up the road, just out of your shot, 4 seconds up the road. Jesper needs to put in some quick laps now to hunt down the 117, and that is, of course, the Varga Sim Racing team.
Yeah, another fight going on in LMP2. About 2 cars back from this is the 717 Artis Motorsport car, Peter Schulze, versus the 33 Drive Game Seat Racing car of Alessandro Apolloni. These guys have been close to each other for the past 10 minutes. And I think Peter made a mistake in traffic, I'm not too sure. But these guys are so close. They've been matching each other on pace this entire stint. And they've got traffic in front, so it could be that 31 car, the 33 car makes it through. They've got GT traffic, and then in front you can see Mantis Rakers. They're not actually far off the back of a fourth place. Actually, these guys have dropped back behind Mantis Rakers.
Yeah, they have indeed, but someone who is really pushing right now is Daniele Primavera, because he's gone purple in Sector 2. He's only a second behind Malcolm Smith, and this is the battle for P3 in the GT3 class. Borja Milan and DIS are still pushing. There's still just over 10 seconds separating the pair of them, and that's the McLaren getting slightly sideways on the exit of the Mulsanne hairpin. And this is going to give Daniele Primavera a fantastic opportunity to move up into the podium spots. He gets it close, and he's going to have a look, squeezing it down the inside on the approach into the Porsche curves, and Daniele Primavera goes up into P3.
Musto being as aggressive as they dare there, pushing them out, making sure that they couldn't gain any single advantage around the outside. Absolutely beautiful driving. They're actually about to lap one of the GT3 Ferrari. He's not too sure who that is at the moment. Going to try and get the number. It is the 12th placed GT Ferrari at the moment, so I believe that is the Danish Racing League, the 13 car.
Primavera just squeezing another McLaren off circuit when lapping, and that McLaren's getting well out of the way, just running wide.
That's a Ferrari, and that car was a lap down to those guys. I'm not sure though. I think the blue flag rules here are still the same for the same class. My mind is completely blanking today.
Yeah.
But I will check that one up actually myself in a moment about blue flag rules, because I believe that Ferrari should have been well out of the way.
Yeah, either way though, Daniela just squeezing him slightly. We'll see what the race officials say about that. However, speaking of Musto, David Greco is closing in onto Wojtek Polesny. This is the battle for P2 in the GTE class. Down the Mulsanne straight into the Mulsanne hairpin. David Greco gets the job done. Sorry, down into the Mulsanne hairpin, pardon me. David Greco gets the job done and is up into P2.
The pace he's been showing is absolutely amazing, like actually getting that done. He was so far behind that Zeus's Motorsports Club car, and he manages to make that move work ever so seamlessly. And that is actually really... Oh, Mark Veit plus the Team Viaducton cars. They come through the Porsche curves. Now the Viaducton car has got the E-Team Brit right on the back of them. Obviously, this is the fight for third place. Viaducton actually have jumped E-Team Brit in the pit stops. Absolutely amazing driving these guys. Of course, you've got to remember the pit lane that they got caught up in was a lot less chaos than what Mark Veit and Bobby Trundle had to deal with. So this is going to be the fight for third place in Hypercar. We'll keep an eye on this on one screen. I still think that David Greco fight, as he's pulled half a second on Wojtek Polesny at the end of this moment.
And Alex, Henry Synek is still out. He still has not pitted. The man is absolutely flying. Well, I mean, he's not pitting. This is absolutely fantastic stuff that we're seeing from Henry Synek. And we talked about how Ibrahim Khan was showing a lot of a pace, but it does not matter when you're not going that long.
Yeah, exactly. And you've got to keep an eye as well. But I think he might be coming in this time. He's been about an hour and 15 minutes on fuel, which is fair enough. An hour and 10, hour and 15, depends how you push. He was dropping off the back of Ibrahim Khan for a while, so that probably was in fuel saving as well, actually. So
here comes Bobby Trundle. He's going down the inside of that is of Mark Veit, and he's going to be able to get
Team Viaducton.
Is that Viaducton? Pardon me, down the inside of Viaducton. So, well, now he can try to hunt down Mark Veit and look to make the move on the 66 car, the car that he had been trying for so long to get past.
Yes, indeed. Trying to actually get back as well. He did. Not going to work there for Team Viaducton car. Bobby Trundle, getting by. Great move by Trundle. He's now going to be set about hunting down Mark Veit. Hopefully try and get past him in the next hour or so. But of course, the Team Viaducton guys are going to be wanting to try and get that back. Of course, this is the team that were meant to be fighting with E-Team Brit at Matsusaka, but of course, E-Team Brit unable to attend that race. So this is the first race we've seen these two clash of the Titans.
Now, Ibrahim Khan pitted last lap. If Henry Synek doesn't pit this lap, this is going to be an almighty stint. And he does come into the pits. Right, where are our other battles? Bobby Trundle pulling away from Viaducton now. And everyone else seems to be fairly spread out across the field, with the exception of the 717 Peter Schultz and 33 of Alessandro Apolloni. They are within a second of each other.
We now have to see Ibrahim Khan is going past traffic. We'll keep an eye on him. Whilst we look at this fight, you'll see Ibrahim Khan in your insert on the top right of your screen. Whilst this fight between Schultz and Apolloni goes on the main side of the screen, Henry Synek is still there. And we have an instant report, and that is between
car 68 and car 66 on lap 18.
That is Mark Veit and Bobby Trundle. That is the instant we were talking about in the pit lane. So it'll be interesting to see what the stewards rule on that indeed, as that will be under investigation at this moment. I can see the stewards working away very diligently.
We got there.
We got there eventually. Right, Ibra's coming across out of the final corner now. Is Henry Synek on the move? He's only on the move now, so Ibrahim Khan is going to have a monumental lead of this race.
And has this been a poor decision from Henry Synek? Remember that gap was about 15 seconds plus when Ibrahim Khan came into the pits, and the gap now is going to be around about the same. So actually, to be fair, it's a monumental lead, but he hasn't gained too much, so that one lap extra that Henry Synek was able to pull out might have been worth it.
Yes, indeed, and of course,
Alessandro Apolloni still somewhat closer to Peter Schultz. Peter Schultz, I should say, but too far back to make anything happen just yet.
Yep, and that is it for now between those two. Also, that fight between the DGCL car is 1.3 seconds now. Bob Milan with a 16-second, and the incident report under review now between the 66 and the 68. So that's confirmation that the stewards are looking at this incident between the two. Just a reminder, it's these two cars on your screen right now. Mark Veit in the 66 Scuderia Basilia hypercar, and Bobby Trundle in the number 68 E-Team Brit hypercar.
Yeah, so Ibrahim Mahan 14 seconds up the road. In the LMP2 class, though, look who has closed up. Actually, right as I say that, Jesper Pedersen, he's going to dive into the pits. And, well, we know Marcel Chinchik went one lap longer.
It's interesting though, because it wasn't that long ago that Jess Pedersen was in, and he wasn't the first of the cars to come in. Remember, that was the Fair Racing Team car, and I haven't seen that car.
Riley McKibben has already pitted. He pitted one.
No, Riley McKibben's AC Motorsport.
Okay.
I'm talking about the Fair Racing Team, who I haven't seen him, but Pettis Schultz are in as well, same as Alessandro Apolloni. So the third place car, fourth place car, and fifth place, third, fifth and sixth place car in the pit lane.
Yep, and it looks like they've all got enough space between them as well, so it should be okay. But look how close Alessandro Apolloni and Peter Schultz are. And Apolloni, he might be able to jump ahead of Peter Schultz in the pits, and maybe we're going to see a Mark Veit Bobby Trundle incident all over again.
I doubt it indeed. Those two are very, very smart drivers. Not going to really take too many risks this early on. As you've seen, they've been racing hard but fair. Nothing, no close quarters, but no major issues. We're going to keep an eye on this little pit fight as well, because these guys are going to be in the pits for a while, but not that long. Meanwhile, Michele Mole, Matthew De Croo, Ryan Nash in as well, same as Ferris Stanley. So it is LMP2 pit stop time. I got a bit confused at what time we were at, so I apologise there. That is Jesper Pedersen leaving the pit lane. Who will leave the pit lane first between these two here, as the Musto car actually is unable to get into his pit box, as the HM Engineering car has to reverse out.
Well, there we go, and there go both the drivers. Peter Schultz, he actually gets a pretty decent drive, but he won't be able to make it work on Alessandro Apolloni. Oh wait, no, he did.
He was ahead. He's actually come out ahead again of Alessandro Apolloni.
So there we go, positions stay firm. However, Bobby Trundle is closing in onto Mark Veit, and the gap now is just 0.6 of a second. These two have been nose to tail for so long. Viaduct and Kane, they said hello, and Bobby Trundle said bye-bye and rejoined his battle with Mark Veit. And how long can this battle continue for?
Exactly, as they go past the number 13, the Danish car, the Danish Ferrari. These guys are going to just be obviously still under review, that incident, so these guys still have a big cloud looming over their head as to what is going to be happening, which one's going to get the downpour of rain, and which one's going to get that little silver lining. Yeah, and you can see on track it is looking a little bit gloomy. You can see next to us through the commentary booth, actually the clouds are starting to come up, but do those clouds bear any rain? Do they bear the fruits of water? Well, that we'll have to find out with the hours to come here in the GTR 24H Endurance E-Racing World Championship round 4, the season finale at Le Mans. And Bobby Trundle still hunting down Mark Veit, but actually went a little bit slower than Mark Veit last time round, and the gap is now just over second. Yeah, just getting caught up in traffic in the least ideal of places is Bobby Trundle. Not really going to be able to make too many moves, although Malcolm Smith has also actually overtaken the 777 Nightmare car. That was actually a change of position between those two as well. So these two are very close in track, only half a second. So maybe worth keeping an eye on these two indeed. No, I thought that Malcolm Smith had got past the Nightmare car. Pardon me, I thought the Nightmare car was closing in, because wasn't Malcolm Smith battling with Daniela Primavera before? Very true. So this means that Callaway's finally found some speed in the race trim. So maybe as the race goes on, the track gets slightly colder, that Callaway's going to come into its own. It might very well do. Now, our race leaders in the LMP2 class are into the pits. So it is just one lap since we saw
one lap since we saw Jesper Pedersen from Burst Edge Esports dive into the pits. Now, where will the likes of Marcel Chinchik, Ernest Lappins and Mantis Reckers come out relative to the Burst Edge car?
I'm just having a look because they're about 7.5 seconds back from Ryan Nash, and they're about, what, 30 seconds off the back of the other guys as ProSim just come in. Ernest Lappins is already leaving the pit lane. This is going to be interesting because Jesper Pedersen is only just coming out of Corvette corner. Have they underfueled that Pinsim Drillers Esports car?
Have they indeed? Well, pit limiter disengage. How far back is Jesper Pedersen? We remember the gap was about 2 seconds before the pits, and it must be about 5+ seconds. Marcel Chinchik will come out in P2. Ernest Lappins is still lapping around. He's got to be able to get another lap at least.
No, he's come out of the pits. He's just come out of the pits. That's why I said if they underfueled that car, because he has come out.
Sorry.
Miles ahead. Meanwhile, Jesper Pedersen does get past Marcel Chinchik in the stops. Mantis Rakers leaving the pit lane. Where are they compared to the HM Engineering of Ferry Stanley? Ferry Stanley will go through. Riley McKibben will come out just in front of the 717 of... Mantis Rakers will come out just in front of Riley McKibben.
So Jesper Pedersen has got the undercut to work on Marcel Chinchik. He's come out 1.7 seconds ahead. So good stuff from Jesper Pedersen, but I wonder, do Ernest Lappins and the number 17 of Pinsim's Drillers Esports know something that we don't about the weather?
Yeah, potentially. Maybe underfueling, going for a fast stint, and the weather going to come down. Meanwhile, at the front, for third place in Hypercar, a Scuderia Brasilia car, and also the E-Team Brick car, the Mark V versus Bobby Trundle. The cars under investigation, obviously. Still very, very close indeed. Hopefully we'll find out soon what the ruling is on that. A lot of incidents to obviously go through. But it looks like Bobby Trundle got a better run out of Tete Rouge. They go past the Simply Race BMW, which isn't really having the greatest of races in GTE, looking to lose the title at this point in time. Meanwhile, Trundle to the outside of the Mulsanne straight, pulls alongside. Has he got the overspeed? The ticker says he is in third, as you can see on the windscreen of the car, and Mark White has to back out.
Yeah, but here comes Mantis Reckers. He's having a good old look at Ferris Stanley, and down the inside into the Mulsanne chicane will go Mantis. He gets the job done, and that's the Mantis Reckers and Team Rookie Monsters up to P4.
And interesting as well, we apparently believe that they didn't take tyres with the 17, so they might be double stinting, expecting rain, or they might have found something that the other teams haven't. Meanwhile, this fight between Mantis Rakers and Ferry Stanley is very close indeed, and they've also got the leading hypercar literally tailing them now. So that means they're going to have that fight for third not that far behind, because they're only about, 19 seconds off the back of these
Bobby
guys.
Trundle's done it. He's got past Mark White.
Yeah, he did a while ago, Yousuf. He got past into the first Mulsanne chicane, but this is Mark White fighting back, coming down towards the Mulsanne hairpin. He's probably going to have a look going into Indianapolis. Will the German comes out of the hairpin, and they will see what they can do. They've got GT traffic not too far ahead. Actually, one of the other hypercars, I believe, because that is Henry Sinnick, only 6 seconds ahead of them now.
Yeah, Henry Sinnick is dropping back, but we know that Henry Sinnick in that number 10 car is fuel saving just a little bit, trying to go further than Ibrahim Khan. And Mark White is close to Bobby Trundle as they make their way down into Indianapolis, but not close enough to go for a move just yet. I just want to compare Henry Sinnick and Bobby Trundle's lap times. Henry Sinnick a couple of tenths quicker last time around.
Yep, indeed, and it seems that Bobby Trundle managed to pull a bit as Mark White gets a tiny bit squirrely coming out of Arnage. We'll get past the ID Sim Sport car as well as they head down towards the Porsche curves. It seems that Bobby Trundle's got himself some breathing room now.
Yeah, and actually, Mantis Reckers, after getting past Ferris Stanley, now Riley McKibben closing in onto Ferris Stanley as well. And Riley McKibben dragging Alessandro Apolloni and Peter Schultz along with him. So this battle for now P5 is starting to heat up in the LMP2 classes. That's not a good run from Ferris Stanley through the Ford chicanes. And it might actually be this lap that Riley McKibben finds a way past.
Yeah, Riley McKibben being very close. They're actually not far off of Mantis Rakers either. And this will then end up becoming the fight for 4th place in class.
Also, just keep an eye in the GTE class as well. I'm going to have a look at that because Jordi San Andres is closing in onto Wojtek Polesny. He's going to go down the inside on the Mulsanne straight for the Mulsanne chicane. And is there any fight that Wojtek Polesny has? And the answer is no. Up goes Jordi San Andres up into P3 of the GTE class. And still Jimmy Nisela who leads 11 seconds ahead of David Greco, and then a further 10 seconds to this two-way battle for third.
I would, yeah, and then we come back to LMP2 because Riley McKibbin is right on the back of Ferris Stanley. He's also got Chinchik and Schultz, so they're 3 wide behind. Meanwhile, Riley McKibbin looking to make a move, but Chinchik wants to have a go at McKibbin and maybe even have a go at Ferris Stanley if he's laying up on the brakes. McKibbin has the 33 to the inside. He backs out and through goes not Chinchik, that's Apolloni. I take that back, I apologize. And Apolloni gets him on the exit. Beautiful move from Sandro Apolloni.
And while you were keeping an eye on that, I was taking a little look at the battle that was happening in the middle of that, which was Pierre B cars and DGTL. Pierre B holding on to their position.
But he didn't take that back because they're now going to be 3 wide coming into the second Mulsanne chicane. Bennett Schultz splits to 2 and he gets a double overtake. Beautiful move by the German on Ferris Stanley and Riley McKibbin.
Absolutely crazy battling here in the LMP2 class. Riley McKibbin coming out as the loser in this battle, and he drops down to P8, but it's not done yet. Riley McKibbin closing in onto Ferris Stanley, and Ferris Stanley's going to be looking for the move onto Peter Schultz. Peter Schultz slams the door shut as we head down into the Mulsanne hairpin, but down the inside, I think that's going to be Riley McKibbin gaining the position. Ferris Stanley goes squirrely on the exit, and that's going to be Riley McKibbin up a place.
Absolutely outstanding racing here in the LMP2 category. We didn't expect much from it because of how wide we saw the gaps in qualifying. Oh boy, there's a lot of racing going on here, and you see the replay on your screen. Peter Schultz slamming the door shut, Riley McKibbin throwing it down the inside.
And now, again, still in this GTE class, the battle is ensuing. They're 3 abreast because that's a hypercar flying past of Bobby Trundle. But, crucially, that is DGTL upper position, up on PRB cars and up into 5th place.
Yeah, and I'm having a look again back at the LMP2 fight because that looks to get even closer again. It also seems that Jordi San Andres and Wojtek Polesny are so close as well. Only 3 tenths separate the two, so we've got the fight for 3rd in GT and 5th in GT.
Yeah, we've got quite a few battles going on, and even in the GT3 class, B32 and Dream Team having a good old battle. B32 are the ones up ahead in P7 in the class, and Dream Team, of course, are down in P8. But the battles are happening thick and fast here at Le Mans. But on that note, I've just realized we've already hit the 1.5 hour mark in the race, so we're going to be throwing to a break, and you guys can keep on watching the GT3 battle at the same time. We'll be back in a short bit.
The Endurance E-Racing World Championship Le Mans 24 Hours is brought to you by ESR Esports Network, Wheat Gaming, SimLab, Husingfeld, Simplexity, Acetech, and AMD Ryzen Radio.
Simplexity is a Danish designer and manufacturer of high-grade sim racing platforms. Their 3 different levels of platforms come in a variety of colors and configurations. Choose from the V4, built from 40 by 40mm extruded aluminum profiles, the V8 built from 80 by 40mm profiles, and the high-tier V12 built from 160 by 40mm extruded aluminum profiles. Prices range from 470 to 750 euros. Go to facebook.com/simplexity.eu and start a messenger chat to inquire more about the options for colors and customization.
tournaments on 13-inch screens.
Oh my God!
Of course you do, but you don't have to worry about that anymore.
He has a jump, son!
Welcome back to the 2020 GTR 24H Endurance E-Racing World Championship here from the Circuit de la Sarthe. I am Alex Skinner, and alongside me I have Yousuf as per always, and it is great to have you here. Of course, we'll be taking you through another hour or another 2 and a bit hours of action here until we hand over to our very esteemed colleagues Ewan O'Leary and Cameron Roger. As you return, we have a very close fight indeed between the Pierre B cars 78 and the 12 GTL cars, but also we have a fight between Marcel Chinchik and Jesper Pedersen in LMP2.
And this is also the fight for P2 as well in the LMP2 class. And well, if the last half an hour of action was anything to go by, I don't think we're going to be surviving until the end of this 24-hour race. We're going to be absolute horses in terms of our voice anyway. But let's see if Marcel Chinchik can find the move on Jesper Pedersen. Of course, Marcel Chinchik pitted 1 lap after Jesper Pedersen, so has slightly fresher tyres but will have a slightly higher fuel load. One man who won't be having a slightly, well, actually has the same fuel load is Ernest Lappins, but on more worn tyres. So these three are going to be really closing up, and actually last time round Jesper Pedersen almost 3 seconds quicker than Ernest Lappins, so that gap is dropping, and it's at a vast rate as well, because we're expecting stints to beat at least 10 laps.
Yep, exactly, 10 or 11 or so laps, depending on how well you can fuel save in those Oreca 07s. And of course, everyone seems to be doing a pretty good job of that. Meanwhile, another fight that's potentially going to happen is Ferry Stanley versus Riley McKibbin again. That fight is getting very close indeed. They've just been lapped by Mark Veit in the 4th place hypercar. The exhibit is still under review at the moment. A couple of issues with the replays apparently, so some instant reports are going to be a bit slow on the revealing of results. We apologise to our viewers, but we will let you know as soon as we get told ourselves.
We will indeed, and we'll have to see which of these LMP2 battles comes to a climax first. As Marcel Chinchik still close to Jesper Pedersen, and the same can be said for Ferry Stanley, looking to reclaim that position on Riley McKibbin after that fantastic 4-way battle. And since that battle has happened now, Alessandro Apolloni is flying, closing in onto Mantis Records for what is P4 of the LMP2 class, and Peter Schultz is a further 3 seconds behind.
Apolloni actually setting his personal best lap last time by, and now we actually have a potential move coming from Ferry Stanley. He looks to the inside of McKibbin but has to back off. The Australian able to shut the door just enough on Ferry Stanley to be able to keep the place. But they have got a lot of GT traffic in front, and well, I think these guys might be having a heart attack seeing how many GT cars they've got in front of them. Is not exactly what they want to see. Ferry's getting held behind, not able to really make any gains on Riley, but of course has plenty of time to make it up because of the amount of traffic coming.
Yeah, definitely does not want to be seeing that traffic. And look at the sky, it is dark, but it's just not bearing any rain at the moment, and we've seen the weather forecast and there is just no rain really coming. There are some splodges, but they're, you know, probably hundreds of miles away from the circuit as Riley gets really sideways, runs wide, and this is going to give Ferry Stanley a great opportunity.
Yeah, poor David Greco came across that, saw the LMP2 on his inside suddenly get very loose, and then had to try and avoid the LMP2 as it came back onto circuit. Thankfully, everyone getting through it perfectly okay, but it was just a rather bit of a brown pants moment for David Greco, who just sort of saw an LMP2 go through and then just suddenly stack it in front of him.
Yeah, and actually we just saw Jesper Pedersen getting held up ever so slightly by the Teleferinningen car, and this is going to give Marcel Chinchik a great opportunity to really close in before we make our way onto the Mulsanne straight. And on that last lap, 2.5 seconds is the amount that Jesper Pedersen took out of Ernest Lappins. 2 more laps and Pedersen will be pretty much on the back of Ernest. So, and I think we're only, what, 4 laps into the stint, so Ernest, he needs like another, well, 2 laps really to have made this work.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, you've got to remember that Ernest is on used tyres, so those tyres may start to be thermally degrading here. We're going to have a look just at that fight from the outboard as well. So you get two perspectives here. You get the onboard from Chinchik and the outboard from Pedersen. You can just see clear track for absolute miles, except obviously if you're looking for a Chinchik who's got the rear end of a Burst Edge Esports car in front of him. But however, these guys are going to be looking to try and just optimize as much as possible. Probably not fight too hard, knowing that they are really, really catching the leading LMP2 car hand over fist.
Yeah, they are indeed. The gap is now 4 seconds, and maybe by the end of the next lap, Jesper Pedersen will actually be right onto the back of Ernest Lappins. And to be honest, I think they're catching by such a rate that Marcel Chinchik, he can actually just go for the move. They can see Ernest up ahead making his way out of the Mulsanne chicane. And they can see how quickly they're closing in. And you were saying the track is completely clear as Marcel Chinchik almost getting caught out by the DSR Nightmare car, just going, well, the wrong way for him really, past the Dream Team as well. But they can have so much space, so much clear air, but they will catch up to a GT car in almost an instant.
Yeah, exactly. They actually get past the DSR Dream Team car pretty clean. They've now got the overall leader, Ibrahim Khan, for the Seawolf Net Race Motorsport squad, very, very close behind. And these two, one wrong move by Ibra, and there could be a massive gap implemented. And as I say that, Ibra goes down inside one of the Kings. He's going to have the second of the LMP2s, and that is smart from Marcel Chinchik, using the slipstream of the hypercar. Not much difference in top speed, and he might have a look to the inside of Indianapolis. No, he's going to back out of it.
He will have to back out, and maybe he can have a look on the exit of Arnaud, because we've seen so many people get this corner wrong and just have a moment with the back end. But nothing of the sort coming through from your burst edge at Jesper Pedersen. Holds on to position for now, 3.3 seconds behind Ernest Lappins. And another battle we might have to keep an eye out on is Nightmare closing in onto Malcolm Smith. That's down in the GT3 class for what I think is P5 actually. P4, pardon me. And there you can see across the start-finish line, the Nightmare car will have a little look down the inside into the Dunlop curve, and that will become the outside for the Dunlop chicane. But they just can't quite find the move, and Malcolm Smith holds on to P4 for now.
Yes, he will indeed. And these guys, just to give you an update as well on the LMP2 fight, the gap is actually going to be less than 3.5 seconds as they come across the line in one lap. They've gained over a second and a half on Ernest Lappins.
But don't forget, it was 3 seconds, then it was 2.5 seconds, and now it's been 2 seconds. So the rate at which
4 seconds, then 3.5, then 2.3. Yes, it's come down a lot more than you think in the past 2 laps. It was 4 seconds. Are you
talking about the gap or the difference in lap times?
The gap.
I'm talking about the difference in lap times.
Oh.
Yeah, because they've been closing in, but the amount they've been closing in has been dropping, because it was almost 3 seconds, and now it is just over
stuck
2.
In heavy traffic as well. You've got to remember they got
True.
stuck in traffic in the worst places, whereas Ernest has kind of got unlucky of recent with the traffic that he has come across. Of course, again, you know, traffic giveth and traffic taketh away.
It most certainly does. However, the Nightmare car closing in once again onto Simon Marshall. Oh, pardon me, Malcolm Smith for Team Rookie Monsters. And down the inside will go the Nightmare car for the Mulsanne chicane. Will they be able to pull off the move? It's such a long straight, you're just waiting endlessly for the corner. And, well, no, it seems Malcolm just turned up the engine mode a little bit. Brake nice and late, and the Nightmare car will have to slot behind, but he actually gets a really good run out of the chicane, and maybe the Mulsanne hairpin will be the answer for the 777 Nightmare car. Don't forget, this is the battle for P4. Neither of them have slipstream. This is just a straight dogfight between the McLaren 650S and the Callaway Corvette, and the McLaren comes out on top. It just seems to have that straight line speed over the Callaway Corvette right now.
From what I remember, that McLaren does have a higher rev range than the Corvette, so it naturally has a higher top speed just based on rev limit alone. So it's able to just pull out a tiny little bit more on the straights. Not much, but it's just enough to be able to make that work, and that is running slightly too wide by Jesper Pedersen. But the beauty of the Le Mans circuit is in all its glory behind us here in the broadcasting booth, which is situated inside very close to my, if I actually looked out the window, I'd be able to see the pit lane right next to me, and who would be coming down that pit lane.
Well, at the moment, no one is coming down the pit lane. We're expecting the LMP2 cars to come in about 4 laps time, I want to say. As I'm still keeping an eye on this battle in the GT3 class. The Nightmare team looking to hunt down and pass Team Rookie Monsters. The hunting has happened, but now they just need to catch their prey, as that's going to be one of the McLaren centers are flying past on the run.
These guys aren't too far ahead of the LMP2 fight for the lead either, Yousuf. Look behind that Nightmare car, and you might just see a bright orange LMP2 pop into view of Ernest Lappins, and behind him, only a second and a half back, is that fight for second.
And let's just see how much Jesper Pedersen has closed this lap on to Ernest Lappins, because the gap is now under half a second.
It's under, even that is probably about 2 seconds now.
They're trying to navigate the back markers. And the McLaren will dive into the pits. So here we go then, the three-way battle in the LMP2 class. Ernest Lappins from Jesper Pedersen and Marcel Czincek. And Marcel's probably in the best situation of all these three.
I wouldn't be surprised if Ernest doesn't fight these guys too hard. Knows he's on worse tyres, so no point really losing that much time. And again, these guys have got 19-second gap to 4th place, so these guys can fight as hard as they like, really, and not lose too much time. But of course, Ernest goes defensive, and then now we'll just sit there, knowing that Jesper Pedersen won't be able to get by until he comes out of Tete Rouge.
Yep, and Jesper Pedersen 2 seconds quicker on that last lap. So the gap that Jesper and Marcel are closing in is staying at about 2 seconds per lap now. With slipstream, surely Jesper will be able to pull off this move. Ernest goes defensive. He wants to fight for this. He wants to make this as hard for Jesper as possible. But surely that will be move done as they head now down towards the Mulsanne chicane. And Ernest Lappin slots in behind, but he has to come back out. He's going to look for the inside on the burst edge. He's got around the outside, and he's got the job done. Great defending. And now Marcel Czincek will be right on the back of Jesper Pedersen onto the second part of the Mulsanne straight. Once again, Jesper Pedersen pulls out. So does Marcel Czincek. They are 3 abreast. That is a screenshot and a half as the LMP2 class, they head down towards the Mulsanne chicane, the second Mulsanne chicane, and it is the Varga racing car that moves up into the lead. What a move, and that is Marcel Czincek well and truly in the lead, but the battle is not done yet because Jesper Pedersen, he still wants blood.
He does indeed. He'll go to the outside of Ernest Lappins. Meanwhile, they have the Musto GT3 car, the second place Mercedes AMG, very, very close in front. But Ernest is going to be able to hold him off just for the sole purpose of the fact that Jesper Pedersen had to go through. But that was a beautiful double overtake by Czincek for the Varga car. That was absolutely amazing down the inside. A repeat of what Petter schultzed in not even half an hour ago. So great to see some lessons being learned, some little tricks being passed on down the grid. And of course, the 17 Pinson Jolly's Esports car is going to be under a lot of pressure.
Oh, we've got a couple of DNFs as well.
We'll check on the DNFs in a minute because Ernest is on the outside. He's got Pedersen to him. He's on the outside now. It's Jesper Pedersen, and Jesper's going to lose a lot of time because of that. We do have a couple of DNFs though. It's the B32 Racing, the 32 car, and the 188 Telephonigan car. That is one of the, I believe it's one of the McLarens and one of the Corvettes.
Yeah. I believe that is a correct Telephonigan, one of the 3 teams in the Corvette. But here comes Jesper, pardon me. Here we go again. Jesper Pedersen on the outside into the push curves. That would be brave. And great defending from Ernest Lappins. And right now, Jesper Pedersen must be absolutely fuming. He's thinking, you let Ernest get past nice and easily, but you're not going to let me pass? What on earth is this? And Jesper Pedersen is losing so much time right now. Either way, though, Jesper Pedersen needs to find something soon because he is losing so much time. Ernest Lappins now 4 seconds behind Marcel Czincek. This 3-way battle for LMP2 is really heating up. Down the inside will it go Jesper Pedersen into the Dunlop curve, into the Dunlop chicane, and he has finally got the job done.
And just a point, you know how long ago it was when Ibrahim Khan went past this lot? Look who's behind them now.
Oh,
Henry
no.
Sinnick. 16.5 seconds is the gap between the leading hypercars now.
It's 21 seconds. Wait, why
16.5.
Why are our times?
Our timing systems are saying different things. Hold on a minute.
Is this going to be another?
Oh, no, yours is coming down. Oh, yours is coming.
Is this going to be another one of those weird bet things that we do on stream? But this time we're not actually to blame for it. Riley McKibben into the pits once again. We know that AAA car of AC Sim Motorsports is pitting slightly early. And are there any other battles really going? Yes, there are, because Nightmare... Oh, wait, never mind. Nightmare is into the pits, and Van der Voorde has just got past. But right now, we've got a bit of a low state, I guess, after that big fight for the LMP2 class. Marcel Chinchek back into the lead, 3.9 clear of Jesper Pedersen, who is 1.3 ahead of Ernest Lappins.
Yes, indeed. And of course, you look at this and you just look at where everyone is on track at the moment. And it's just nice and calm. It's nice and clean, nice and calm, and everyone is finally finding some zen in the event.
I think I'm going to finally find myself some water.
That to say, we do have plenty of refreshments on hand here in the booth just to keep our voices nice and clean so that they don't dry up and absolutely destroy themselves. As we
Mine's already been destroyed, to be honest with you.
No, I'm used to endurance commentary. I'm used to watching Nathan Minchich go around the outside of the Porsche curve, so I'm pretty used to shouting at things at this point in time. Meanwhile...
I mean, we will be seeing Jone Simoncic a little bit later, maybe taking over for Jesper Pedersen at some point this afternoon, or maybe we'll be coming in for that night till we know how close Marcel Chinchik and Jone Simoncic were in pace during the qualifying sessions.
Yeah, and it's great to see that Jesper Pedersen definitely isn't that much slower either. They've been running a very, very solid race pace at the moment.
So I'm just wondering, Alex, are any other deltas for us just completely different?
Yeah, I try refreshing yours, see if it works, and if it doesn't, I'll refresh mine.
Okay, I've refreshed mine. Mine's still the same.
Let me refresh mine. I guarantee you mine will still be the same. No, mine's still the same as well.
Yeah,
so somehow, right, we'll give you a bit of insight. So we have a big timing screen in front of us that we use to control our cameras to see things. Somehow, there is about, 23.4 for you, it's 16.2 for me. There's about a 6 or 8 second difference in the deltas between our two.
And there's a difference in all of the other classes as well when we look at it. You know, LMP2, mine says 4.6, yours says 3.2. GT3, or, well, GTE class at 2.9. What does yours say?
3.0, which is actually about right.
Yeah. And GT3 is 22 seconds, 22 seconds.
Interesting. Oh, meanwhile, Marcel Chinchik, purple final sector, by the way. So
yeah,
he's still going so much faster.
Yeah, but then Jesper Pedersen comes along and beats his lap time by a tenth to set his new
because
PB.
Marcel Chinchik didn't set a fastest overall. It was about 4. It was 3/10 slower.
Yeah, I mean, right now, Marcel Chinchik has the fastest lap of the LMP2 field, 600ths quicker than Jesper Pedersen. And at least with regards to actual lap times, our timing screens are agreeing with each other.
Yeah, first time that something between us has agreed for a while, I feel.
You know, when you were interviewing the ET Brit guys, you know, and how they were saying, oh, you know, they don't like each other anymore. I was going to joke that it's the same here in the commentary booth, but I didn't get the chance.
Oh, God. Again, Easy and Brit, guys, we had an interview last night. If you didn't see that, go and catch up with it. It was absolutely brilliant interview to have with the ET and Brit guys that run in the Brit car series in the United Kingdom. And it absolutely hilarious, guys, to get to know and actually have. And it's great to have them here. Running 3rd place currently and still under the cloud of that incident report from earlier, the last set of stops, which is about an hour ago now. So we're expecting those hypercars in soon.
Yeah, we will be, and the LMP2 cars should be pitting up pretty soon as well, because we have seen who is, again, Riley McKibben pit. And Riley McKibben usually pits 2 laps before we see the rest of the field pit. And then the next lap, Marcel Chinchik should be in the pits as well. So I'm expecting this lap, Ernest Lappins and Jesper Pedersen to dive on in. Ernest Lappins, with those worn tires as well, you know, he's tried to double stint. I don't know if it was a right decision. Now the top 3 are separated by 10 seconds.
Yeah, and it's absolutely insane how close these guys are, especially in terms of the fighting and how quick they actually have been all race. You know, everyone's sort of been matching each other in the majority of cases now. I'm going to give a bit of screen time to some of the guys we haven't really seen, you know, for the time. So we're actually going to go to, yeah, let's go for the 23. Alvaro Incausti in that McLaren 720S, the 23 sim racing motorsport car. Car's pretty much been on its own, really. He has 15 seconds back from the car in front and a lap ahead of the 72 car GT car Jean-Paul Van Earl. Instant decision before we go to a commercial break. Car 999 and the 94 on lap 1. Oh, sorry, lap 10. Or
94. Who is that? 999 and 94.
It says
Team Rookie Monsters and Musto GD.
So this is for the contact. Now, is there a penalty? It doesn't say if there is a penalty given. You know what? You're going to find out after this commercial break.
That was a good transition.
The Endurance E-Racing World Championship Le Mans 24 Hours is brought to you by ESR Esports Network, Fleet Gaming, SimLab, Husingfeld, Simplexity, Acetip, and AMD Ryzen Radio.
Simplexity is a Danish designer and manufacturer of high-grade sim racing platforms. Their 3 different levels of platforms come in a variety of colors and configurations. Choose from the V4, built from 40 by 40 mm extruded aluminum profiles, the V8 built from 80 by 40 mm profiles, and the high-tier V12 built from 160 by 40 mm extruded aluminum profiles. Prices range from 470 to 750 euros. Go to facebook.com/simplexity.eu and start a messenger chat to inquire more about the options for colors and customization.
Games? Do you like esports? Do you hate watching laggy streams of tournaments on 13-inch screens?
Oh my god!
Of course you do. But you don't have to worry about that anymore.
There's a jump, son!
Welcome back to the 2020 GTR 24H 24 Hours of Le Mans in the Endurance E-Racing World Championship. Drama before the break, but first, David Greco in GTE has made the move for the lead. But big drama in the GT3 category. Your leading GT3 car, as should be on screen now, is got a penalty. It's a drive-through for the incident we saw earlier with the Rookie Monsters GT3. They are getting a penalty and it's going to be a drive-through.
It will indeed be a drive-through. Second place because Borja Milan has just pitted. Remember, he was, he's just in his own little world right now as Borja Milan is absolutely phenomenal. We're starting to see the LMP2 cars are pitting. We have seen Jesper Pedersen jump into the pits. We're still waiting for Mantis Wreckers, Ernest Lappins, and of course, our race leader, Marcel Cinčić, to pit. And Marcel has dived into the pits, and we are expecting Ernest and Mantis to follow suit.
Yeah, and we are now 2 hours into this race, Yousuf. So it's time for your EEWC hourly update. So, in the Le Mans Hypercar class, it's been a pretty solid race for Ibrahim Khan for the Number 47 Seawolf Net Race Motorsports crew. These guys have been unchallenged since they took the lead, extending that gap, and it's now 17 seconds between them and second place, the number 10 Pinsim Drillers Esports of Henry Sinnick. In third place is currently the 68E Team Brit car of Bobby Trundle. That car, again, alongside with fourth place, number 66 Mark Veit in the Scuderia Brasilia car, is under investigation for contact on the exit of the pit lane still. Meanwhile, fifth place, your championship victors, the number 4 Team Viaducton. They are now still ahead of the number 97, which is the Elite Simsport Racing team, currently at the back of the field by 53 seconds. Leading in LMP2 is going to be the number 117 Marcel Cinčić for Varga. They have been absolutely flying since they got past Jesper Pedersen. They are now a long way ahead. I won't say the gap because the gap is obviously wrong on my screen because it's not a minute and a half. It is only 10 seconds of a gap between the two. And following them, it is Mantis Rakers in third place for the Ricky Monster because the pit cycle for LMP2 is underway.
And Mantis Rakers has actually jumped ahead of Ernest Lappins.
Yes, because Ernest has just come into the pits.
Yeah, but Ernest was ahead before the pit.
Right, so Ernest comes into the pits. Mantis hasn't pitted yet.
Mantis did pit.
No, he hasn't.
Yes, he has.
No, he pits along with the rest of the team.
Drive-through penalty for car 94 for causing a collision.
Smoke also from the Pinsim Drillers Esports car. I don't know if you saw that there. I just got that point out. But my production manager, who literally just popped into view alongside me, that car is smoking. Is that an engine problem? Because if it is, oh...
I thought he had just hit the dirt and just kicked up a bit of dirt. I thought that was all it was. But Ernest Lappins, well... he tried a double stint and, that wouldn't cause any engine issues, but if he does have some issues, that is going to be absolutely disaster for Ernest, who is running in P3 and pretty much in the battle for the lead with Marcel Cinčić and Jesper Pedersen. So that is the number 17 Pinsims Drillers Esports car, so they will not be happy with that at all. Hopefully for them, that car does last, but if there is any form of engine issue, that is only going to get worse and worse over the course of the 24-hour race, and we are only 2 hours into the race at the current point.
Yeah, exactly, and plenty of time left to go and plenty of action left to witness here at Le Mans. But of course, everyone now starting to finally find their footing, find their pace and settle themselves down. Obviously, we're still going to have LMP2 fights going on with the pit lane, but at the moment, we can actually take a bit of a break and relax a bit, Yousuf.
Wait, hang on.
Kick the chairs back, yeah. Kick the chairs back and enjoy ourselves as we get to watch on screen currently Ernest Lappins in the number 17 Drillers, Pinsim Drillers Esports car, and he's actually probably going to make an overtake on Alessandro Apolloni on track. And of course, Alessandro Apolloni, has he pitted yet?
I think he might have. Can we actually just check? Because Ernest Lappins, I'm pretty sure Mantis Wreckers came in the pits as well, because Mantis was only about 10 seconds behind Ernest and Jesper when they made their stops. So I think something happened to Ernest because Ernest has pitted. Look how far behind Jesper Pedersen he is. It's 30 seconds. He's lost 20 seconds in the pits.
Jesper Pedersen hasn't come into the pits.
Yes, Jesper Pedersen has. That's why he's behind Marcel Cinčić.